Well, welcome along to another issue of Under the Surface, and today I am back on a very old haunt of mine, a place called Pocklington Canal, and it's an absolutely beautiful evening. It's the end of May, it's a bank holiday weekend, and I've come to do an evening's fly fishing for pike. And as you can see, it's a lovely little stretch of water. It's all reed lined and very rarely used angling wise, traffic from boat wise, anything really. And I used to fish this when I was a kid, and used to get some fantastic pike out of it, up to about 18.5 pounds, which for a 15-year-old kid's fantastic. And I've never really fished this stretch before. It's a place called Melbourne Marina. There is just behind this lock here, there's a sort of side entrance to a marina where there's a few narrow boats more up. So I've come down here for an evening session. It's nice just to wet a line for a little bit really. Not expecting to catch anything massive. If I do, it'll be a nice bonus, but you can't really fault it for a fantastic way to spend a few hours. So I'll just quickly run through my setup for this evening's session. I'm not going to bore you too much. It's really straightforward, to be honest with you. That's the beauty of fly fishing for pike. You don't have to have a lot of gear, and indeed I've not even got a pike fly rod. I'm using a standard 6-7 weight trout rod really. So it's like I say, a standard 9.5 foot trout rod, 6-7 weight. It's a standard trout reel with 7 weight floating line on there. I've got sort of an EP minnow on there with a little weed guard. I've got maybe about 6-7 inches of trace up to a little link loop, which is what I use for carping, but I've adapted one for here. And I've got maybe 6 foot of Berkeley fluorocarbon on there, and then just a decent sized net, and really importantly a bit of sort of safety advice. A good pair of Polaroid sunglasses for 2 reasons really: for helping you spot the fish, and this water's pretty clear, so they're a real advantage, and secondly to protect your eyes, because that's a big hunk of fluff and it's got a really big hook on it, and the last thing you want to do is have one of them stick in your eye. So it's always good to wear sunglasses, and of course a hat as well, because if you've got ears as big as mine, then you'll certainly want to try and protect them as much as you can. So a Pete's cap is always a bit of a bonus. So yeah, that and a decent sized net and a little box of flies and stuff, and you're away really. There's not a great deal more you need. Maybe a pair of pliers and some forceps which I've got in my bag, and a camera in case you catch anything. So without further ado, let's get cracking with it and see if we can't get one. So here's a little tip for you. What I found when I've been going up and down this canal. Obviously when you're casting you've got to strip a lot of line off before you do cast, so you can pay it out while you're casting and obviously reach your desired distance. Now if you look around on here, there's sort of lots of marginal vegetation and stuff, and your line can get caught around all sorts. I was having a bit of trouble earlier on with the sort of dandelion fronds there. So what I've done is I've just dropped my net in front of me, and that's acting almost like a line guard kind of thing, so nothing's getting tangled up. It's all in the net. The net's quite a rigid one anyway, and makes it much easier for casting. And like I say, when you're in little gaps in the rushes like down there, which I have been a little earlier along, it's easy to sort of cast and not have to worry about getting line wrapped around, especially when you're chucking a big fly like this. The last thing you want to do is get snagged up on the back cast and it drop into a tree or something. So yeah, little tip for you there. Well, there you go. I've just got off the phone from James, who's just had his first carp off Knotford at £17 on a zig, and first put back in, and this little monster had a go. Took a little red and white number. If you have a look though, look at the markings on that. I mean, this is about 2–2.5 pound, and it's been had by something considerably bigger. So somewhere out here is a rather large pike, and I won't mind him next. what a fantastic little fish, and a great way to spend an evening fly fishing for pike. Well, I'm just having a wander back up now. I've just had a little mooch up, a bit further upstream, but I don't know if you can make out on the surface there's quite a lot of scum. It's turning over at the minute because the weather's quite warm, so all the sort of bottom debris rising to the surface, and give it a few weeks and that'll clear out again. But when it does, there's lots of great little nooks and crannies to have a go at, little lily beds and sunken trees and brush beds and all sorts of stuff, so it can be a lot of fun. And I've had a fantastic evening tonight and really enjoyed myself getting back down here. It's been a glorious day, lovely to get one fish off. I think anything's a bonus really. So yeah, get yourself out fly fishing for the pike. It's a great time of year to do it, and you'll have a lot of fun. Well, the sun's now set behind me, and it's time to call it a day. It's been a really enjoyable evening fishing on the canal here at Pocklington. It's brought back a lot of very happy memories, and even better to get a little pike off. And there's a fish just top there in the distance. But yeah, it's a lovely way to spend an evening, is fly fishing for pike on little stretches of water like this that have got lots of little jacks in. It's a lot of fun. It's a good art form to practice and harness, and another thing for your armoury. Just something a bit different really, I suppose. Although it's growing in popularity, it's still not what you'd call a mainstream aspect of the sport, is fly fishing for pike. But believe you me, it's a lot of fun, and you can still catch big fish on it. And I know there's big fish in here, and I like to get one or two on the fly. Like I said though, it's been a bit difficult with the sort of scum on the surface. You can see this area I was fishing earlier on that was completely clear is now turned over, so give it a couple of weeks and it'll be back looking its best again, and be able to get into all the little nooks and crannies as I mentioned earlier on. But for now, I think it's time to head home for a bit of tea. But thanks for watching. Hopefully showing you a trick or two, and hope to see you out on the bank again sometime.